More than 1,300 years ago, surrounded by a fence of mountains, in this region with the three mountains of Yamato, designated special place of scenic beauty, the historical drama of the very first capital of Japan, Fujiwara Kyo, began. Carrying on the will of Emperor Tenmu to establish a constitutional form of government, Princess Unono Sarara, enthroned as the Empress Jito, began construction of a permanent capital, and Fujiwara Kyo was born in December 694. The Fujiwara Kyo was first thought to be bounded by the three mountains of Yamato. However, in the 1990s, the discovery of the Higashi Kyogo-ku-oji and the Nishi Kyogo-ku-oji roads by excavation revealed that it was constructed in a grid that extended about 5.3 kilometers in every direction. And it was on such a grand scale that all three mountains of Yamato fit completely inside that grid. Such a scale surpassed even the capitals Heian Kyo and Heijo Kyo, making it the largest capital in ancient times. The Fujiwara Kyo was built under the first full-scale city planning and modeled after the capital of China. The streets of the capital ran north, south, east, and west in a grid pattern, with the palace placed at the center. Previously, it was the customary practice to have a new palace built for each generation of emperor. However, starting with the Fujiwara Kyo, capital cities were henceforth established around a permanent palace for all of the succeeding emperors to take the reins of government in the region. At the heart of the Fujiwara Kyo capital, the Fujiwara Palace is equivalent to the present-day Imperial Palace. The Diet and the Kasumigaseki government district gathered in one location. The Fujiwara Palace spreads approximately 1 kilometer in all directions. It was surrounded by high walls and moats, and 3 gates were placed on each side. Within the palace, the Dairi, the emperor's residence, the Daikokuden, Hall of State, and the Chodoin, Court of Government, where ceremonies and affairs of state were conducted, and other government buildings were located. For the construction of the Fujiwara Palace, many people were recruited throughout the country, and lumber from Omi, the present-day Shiga Prefecture, was transported over water and land. In addition, Fujiwara Palace was the very first in Japan to cover the roof of its buildings with tiles. It was estimated that more than 2 million tiles were used for the Fujiwara Palace. This large quantity of tiles is 100 times more than those used for the Horyuji Temple. These tiles were especially made from tile kilns throughout the Nara Basin and distant areas such as the Sanuki Province, today's Kagawa Prefecture. The population of the capital was estimated to be 20,000 to 30,000 people. Not only were there government officials working in the capital, but stationed soldiers, laborers, and people who had come to pay taxes from all over the country have also gathered there. The diet of the aristocracy of that time was very luxurious, with an abundance of ingredients. On the other hand, common people had simple fare, such as brown rice seasoned with salt, and boiled greens and mountain vegetables on the side. In 701 AD, the Taiho Code, a set of laws to govern the country, was completed, and Ritsuryo-sei, the administrative and penal system, was developed to become the basic foundation for governance. In 702 AD, diplomatic envoys to China were dispatched from Fujiwara Kyo, using Nihon as the name of the country for the first time. In 708 AD, Wado Kaichin coins were issued as currency. Its circulation had gradually become widespread to form the foundation of the monetary economy of today. As just described, Fujiwara Kyo was the first full-scale capital in Japan, and at the same time it had provided the stage in which to build the foundation for the governance and economy of Japan from the Nara period to the present, with the establishment of the Taiho Code and governmental organizations. Buddhism culture had also flourished around Fujiwara Kyo. Large temples such as the Daikan Daiji Temple and Yakushiji Temple were built within the city. Now massive cornerstones remain in the ruins of the temples to evoke ancient times. Emperor Tenmu began construction of the Yakushiji Temple to pray for the recovery of his wife from illness, but he died before he could see its completion, and his wife, who became the Empress Jito, completed its construction to carry on his will. The Yakushiji Complex, which includes the kondo, main hall, and pagodas on its east and west, is a typical Yakushiji-style layout, and is known to be the predecessor of the Yakushiji Temple in Heijyo-kyo. It is now called the ruins of Moto Yakushiji, and huge cornerstones can be found there. From mid-August to early October, water hyacinth bloom beautifully to welcome visitors. The mountains surrounding the Fujiwara Palace, Mount Kagu, Mount Unebi, and Mount Mininashi, are collectively called the Three Mountains of Yamato, and they have been beloved since ancient times by people such as those who wrote poems in the Manyoshu, the oldest anthology of poetry. Spring has passed and summer has come. It seems pure white robes are hanging to dry over Ama no Kaguyama. This poem was believed to have been written by the Empress Jito looking out at Mount Kaguyama, one of the three mountains of Yamato, from the Fujiwara Palace. After 1,300 years, the three mountains of Yamato are still beloved by many people as unchanging historical scenery and as the landscape of the Japanese heart. In 2005, it was designated as a special place of scenic beauty of the country. In the present-day ruins of Fujiwara Palace, flower gardens are kept, where flowers can be enjoyed through the seasons. In spring, red poppy and rapeseed flowers are in bloom. In summer, lotus, yellow cosmos, balloon, and yellow petrenia flowers fill the field with colors. And in autumn, cosmos flowers in riotous bloom invite many people to visit it as a place to relax. In 2007, many cultural properties were registered collectively as Asuka Fujiwara, archaeological sites of Japan's ancient capitals and related properties, on the UNESCO Provisional List of World Heritage Candidates, and these include Special Historic Site, ruins of Fujiwara Palace, Historic Site, ruins of Zuzaku Oji Street in Fujiwara Kyo, and Special Historic Site, ruins of Moto Yakushiji Temple. The curtain fell on Fujiwara Kyo after 16 years, but even 1,300 years later, it has become a place full of ancient romanticism, where one can picture the original backdrop of the Manyoshu poems and the glory of ancient times. To visit Kashihara, a city full of romance of the past, with sites such as the ruins of Fujiwara Palace and the Moto Yakushiji Temple, it takes about 35 minutes from Osaka, 50 minutes from Kyoto, and 2 hours from Nagoya by train. From the Kansai International Airport, it takes about 1 hour and 10 minutes by bus or train.